Welcome to Storytimer at Large, Shelia and Ronald Banks. Sheila Grigsby was born in October of 1949 in Charlottesville, Virginia, to Margaret and Adolph Grigsby. Sheila and her mother moved to Dayton in 1960. Later, Sheila married Theodore Banks, son of Mr. and Mrs. Charles Banks. But I wasn't able to find their wedding date. The couple had a son who they named Ronald Eugene Banks. 20-year-old Sheila Banks and her young son, Ronald Eugene, were at home at 804 Tyson Avenue on Saturday evening, January 13, 1972. Little Ronald was only 20 months old. I imagine that somewhere in the back of Sheila's mind was a plan for his upcoming second birthday. Sheila might have done some homework that night before going to bed. She was, after all, studying to become a nurse at Sinclair College in Dayton. 2 other children were spending the night in the home as well. Sometime late Saturday night or early Sunday morning on the 14th of January, someone entered the home. That person sexually assaulted Sheila Banks in her own bed. That killer also held little Ronald face down in the mattress so that he smothered to death. The killer stabbed Sheila to death, but did not harm the other children in the home that night. Sheila's husband, Theodore C. Banks, was questioned the morning after her murder, but was cleared of involvement and released by the police. The funeral of Sheila and Ronald was held at the Sunlight Baptist Church, which was near her home at 804 Tyson. Visitation took place at the Bowman Funeral Chapel. Sheila and Ronald Banks are buried at West Memory Gardens. That's a cemetery southwest of Dayton off Germantown Pike. Sheila and Ronald's murders were not unique in the early 1970s on the west side of Dayton. If you've been watching some of the recent videos, I've been talking about several home invasion murders of women and families. Gloria Jean Buck and her young children, Tracy and Scott, were home on Saturday, January 13th, 1973. They lived at 2020 Arthur Avenue in northwest Dayton. That is exactly 1 year to the date after Sheila Banks and Ronald Banks' murder on January 13th, 1972. Someone entered the home of Gloria Jean Buck and her children. They sexually assaulted Gloria. That perpetrator shot her with a .22 caliber weapon and stabbed her to death. That man also stabbed young Tracy and Scott to death as well. So again, we have stabbing murder. 12 days after the Buck family murders, Linda Dearth was killed in a rural area outside of Brookville, Ohio. That's about a 30 to 40-minute drive from Sheila Banks' home and the Buck family home. 13-year-old Linda was sexually assaulted and shot 3 times in the head with a .22 caliber gun on January 25, 1973. I think it's important to think about the perpetrator and what kind of person he might have been. He's not abducting women and young women and girls and taking them in his car. There's something about that car. It's either a car he has borrowed or a vehicle that he is using for work, but he's getting around in some sort of vehicle that he's not comfortable taking a victim into. On February 3rd, 1973, at around noon, a talented nightclub singer, Eddie Herring, and his wife Sharon were murdered in their home in a home invasion. Again, the Buck family murders and the Linda Dearth murders were daytime killings, home invasions. Eddie Herring and his wife. In this case, the perpetrator was described as a skinny white man. He shot both adults with a shotgun, but did not shoot the couple's 6-year-old daughter. An investigation of the scene found a .22 caliber cartridge found at the scene, oddly enough. The Herring family lived on the west side of Dayton near Shelia Banks. Let's think about the timing of this. The Buck family murders are on the 13th of January, 1973. 12 days later, Linda Dirth is killed outside of Brookville, Ohio. And then February 3rd, so from the 25th of January when Linda Dirth was killed to February 3rd, again, just, a little over a week later, Eddie Herring and his wife Sharon were murdered in that home invasion in their home. All of these things, all of these murders, all 4 of these happened on the west side of Dayton. Either on the Herring family, Eddie Herring, the nightclub singer, and his wife lived near Shelia Banks, so kind of the southwest mid section of Dayton. And the other 2 were the Buck family murders, the northwest side of Dayton, and Brookville is just a little bit northwest of Dayton. Are all these murders related? Only a thorough investigation and testing of evidence will tell us that tale. Shelia and Ronald Banks, I couldn't find photos of them. Quite often I found in researching cold cases, I can find photos of victims in their yearbook photos on Ancestry.com, or sometimes people have posted photos on findagrave.com as a memorial to their loved one. But in the case of a lot of African Americans, yearbook photos aren't available. I don't know whether yearbooks weren't produced for African Americans, whether photographers were unwilling to go into African American schools. I have no idea what the reason is, but I feel like racism is probably one of the reasons. Yeah, absolutely difficult to find photographs of African American victims, so I've used silhouettes here for Shelia and Ronald. I would love to have a photograph of them because photos get more attention. And in order to get your case solved, you really need to get a lot of attention on it. Shelia and Ronald Banks should still be here. Shelia should have been able to finish her training as a nurse, finish her schooling, and work a long career. Ronald, 20 months old, he should have been allowed to grow up and be here with us today. They deserved to be able to live out their whole lives. Rest in peace, Shelia and Ronald. Thank you so much if you're listening to these videos, watching these videos. Thank you if you're sharing the videos. We can get more attention on these cases if you share that video to your social media. Really appreciate everyone who's subscribing. Thank you so much. That helps the YouTube algorithm push these videos out to other viewers. If you're watching the video, watch it all the way to the end. That helps a lot as well. And comments always help the algorithm send this out to more people. So thank you so much. Of course, none of this is monetized. It can't be monetized, I don't believe. And, that's not the purpose of making these videos. It really is just to get more attention on these cases and hopefully get cases solved. So thank you so much, everyone. I hope that you have a great day today. I hope that you are kind to someone and that someone else is kind to you.